There's a painting from 1869 that most people describe as romantic. A woman standing between two figures, wealth on one side, love on the other, a choice. That's what the title says. That's what everyone sees. But here's what almost no one mentions. The man who painted this had just watched his wife die 8 months earlier in childbirth, along with their newborn son. And now he was in his studio, alone, painting a woman suspended between security and love. Tell me that doesn't change how you see this. Then you notice the hands. At first, they seem gentle, almost symbolic. But the longer you look, the more weight they seem to carry. They're not just guiding her, they're holding her in place. There's intention in that grip, a quiet firmness. And suddenly, this scene feels less like an abstract idea and more like a real moment, one with pressure. And then there's something easy to miss, an object being offered. At a glance, it looks like a gift, something refined, even beautiful. But in this context, it starts to feel different, because in the world this painting came from, gifts like this weren't just gestures. They carried meaning, expectation, sometimes even obligation. This might not be generosity. It might be a proposal, a promise of security that asks for something in return. And then you begin to notice something else, someone else, a presence that isn't as obvious, not pulling, not insisting, but still there, watching, almost guiding the moment without touching it. It's subtle, but it changes the atmosphere because it raises a quiet question. Is she really alone in this? Or is this moment being shaped by something beyond her, by expectation, by tradition, by the invisible weight of what others believe she should choose? But to understand what this painting might really be about, you need to know something about the man who made it. William-Adolphe Bouguereau painted this in 1869. He was 44 years old, one of the most celebrated artists in France. 826 paintings over his lifetime. Technically flawless, commercially untouchable. And yet, in 1877, just a few years after this painting, his wife and newborn son died together during childbirth. He fell in love again with a woman named Elizabeth Gardner, an American painter who had studied under him. He proposed 8 months after his wife's death. She said yes, but his mother bitterly opposed the union. His daughter threatened to leave home and join a convent, and so the engagement lasted 17 years. 17 years of loving someone he was not allowed to marry. His mother made him swear he would never remarry, and he kept that promise until she died at 91. Only then, at age 71, did he finally marry Elizabeth. They had 9 years together before he died. Now look at this painting again. A woman standing between wealth and love, unable to move, held in place by forces she didn't choose. Maybe Bouguereau wasn't just painting an allegory. Maybe he was painting exactly what his life felt like. Look again at her posture. There's a slight movement in her body, but it never fully resolves. It doesn't become a step. It doesn't become a decision. It stays in between. Her shoulders hold tension. Her arms don't flow freely. There's resistance there, quiet, but constant. And the contrast between the figures around her, it's subtle, but important. One feels stable, certain, almost like it already knows the outcome. The other feels emotional, uncertain, a little more urgent. And somehow, neither feels like a place she truly belongs. So maybe this painting was never about choosing between two desires. Maybe it's about something else entirely, something more uncomfortable. What if this isn't a moment of decision, but a moment of realization? The realization that no matter what she chooses, something will be lost. There's a quiet stillness in her face that's difficult to read. Not sadness, not fear, not hope, just distance. As if she already understands what this moment will cost her, as if the outcome has already begun to take shape. We started with a painting about choice, a woman standing between wealth and love, and for 150 years, that's how people read it. A poetic dilemma, a romantic allegory, a moment frozen in time. But now you know who painted it. A man who loved someone for 17 years and wasn't allowed to marry her. A man held in place by obligation, by family, by the invisible rules of the world he lived in. And suddenly, the woman in this painting isn't just a symbol, she's a mirror. Bouguereau didn't paint a choice. He painted what it feels like, when the choice was never really yours. If you made it here, you already understand what this channel is about. Not art history, not technique, not names and dates. It's about what's hidden inside the image, the thing that changes everything once you finally see it. If that's the kind of observation you're drawn to, subscribe. Every video on this channel starts with what you think you're looking at and ends somewhere else entirely. I'll see you inside the next work.